Hey guys, I'm Katie,
I'm Mandy.
and we are from Totally Weird and Twisted Podcast.
Welcome to our talk show.
Twisted Talk.
Twisted Talk with the Twat Girls.
We're twats.
We are. You don't have to call us that if you don't want to, but we're cool with it.
We named ourselves that, so
We did.
welcome.
Yeah, we did pick the name. Anyway, we call ourselves that because we can basically talk about whatever the fuck we want to.
We talk about anything ranging from the paranormal to history to serial killers
to true crime and people who sleep with dolls.
Yeah, we talk about really anything we find interesting.
But most of all, while we're doing it, we like to have a good time with it. We don't talk about anything that we can't have fun doing. So we hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you have fun with us.
Oh, and also, cheers, Mandy.
Cheers.
Join us in having a drink and welcome to Twisted Talk.
I'm going out my mind.
All right, tonight we are talking with the Haunted Historian. You can find him on Instagram at haunted.historian. And I hope you enjoy him as much as we did.
He's hilarious and has
hilarious
and has the coolest stories ever. So sit back, grab a drink, and
join us. Let me tell you a joke while we're waiting.
Okay.
Since we're recording. A priest and a nun walk into a bar. Okay.
All right.
The bartender says to the priest, "What will you have to drink?" And the nun says, "I got your drink right here."
That's dirty.
No, it doesn't even mean anything. Like, that's a point of the whole joke. Not he drinks her twat.
Oh,
yes.
Shows you where my mind is.
I see where your mind was going, but the whole
mind is always there.
The whole point of the joke is that it makes no sense.
Then why is it a joke?
Because it makes people like try really hard to figure out the answer.
Oh,
yeah,
dirty.
Your mind is dirty.
My mind is so dirty. My mind is filthy.
Ooh,
nasty. Too dirty to clean my act up.
Well, that's true. Cheers.
I don't know what that was. Let's try again.
Just like in our podcast, there's no audio of our cheers.
Mm-mm.
But you can see that they're real cans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of another joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Smell map.
I don't want to. I don't want to smell a pussy.
Okay, he's back. Back again.
Where's your go?
Connor's back.
I love your pictures. I love everything about it. But for those that are watching, tell us who you are, what you do, how you got into it. Give us the information.
Absolutely. My name is Conner Gossel. For an actual job, I work in marketing. But ever since I was in high school, I have been a paranormal investigator as well. And around the later portion of 2018, to kind of fill in a void there was in having moved away from my hometown where my initial ghost hunting team was, I created the Haunted Historian, which was meant just to be, initially at least, an outlet to talk about and document some locations that I was thinking about, locations around the US and around the world that I wanted to investigate, as well as, informing a community locations that other people had been to, evidence that other people had captured, and kind of sharing that with a community as a whole. And I remember telling my my girlfriend, my now fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I remember telling her, I'm like, it'd be so cool if over the course of a year or so, we can get to a point where the Haunted Historian operated like a similar, a normal Instagram page where we got like 100 likes on a photo. We got some DMs, we got some messages in the photos. It wasn't some like small little Hodunk, Ohio page like it had been founded. And now several years later, with thousands of likes on all the photos and dozens of comments, and getting to team up with so many individuals that I grew up watching to help out with their shows. So
Oh, that's cool.
it is. It truly is an extremely blessed situation. It's absolutely incredible. But at the core of all of that, at the beginning, still, and as always, is the community and teaming up with people and talking with people and hearing their experiences and sharing my own. So that's why I always absolutely love doing any kind of podcast like this and meeting two ladies such as yourselves and hearing what you have to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're super into the paranormal as well. But you just said that you've had some experiences.
I have, yeah. I grew up in a haunted house, and a house that was so haunted, in fact, that Travel Channel actually featured it in one of their series.
No.
Was it My Childhood Nightmares? I'll try and send you guys the link after this if you'd like. They got a lot of stuff right in it, but as any network television series will go, they took a lot of liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that happened.
My entire family still to this day is not even aware that it exists.
No way.
Some of them are aware that the episode exists in the house we grew up in. Primarily, my siblings and I, who were very cognizant of the stuff that was happening and willing to kind of pinpoint, like, this isn't right, this isn't normal, this might be kind of supernatural, rather than my parents, who were more so like, oh, kind of turn a blind eye, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Like, we'll kind of protect our kids' peace of mind, this isn't really going on. So my brothers know it exists, but my parents are either for their benefit or just for my benefit. They're just not aware that it's viewed to the world.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in what was then a very small town called Beaver Creek, Ohio, just south of Dayton in the southern portion of the state. There was not a lot to do. Truly, it was like any kind of sitcom you watch where a family grows up and it's like you're ordering in pizza or you're going bowling for the night. And other than that, there's not a lot of options in town.
Right?
It sounds like the Flintstones.
You went back to the Stone Age.
It was pretty bad boring. It truly was. Which, I credit largely for being what kind of pushed me to what was then kind of a novelty option of venturing out and doing things involved in the paranormal. Because otherwise, if there was like, if I got older and there were a bunch of house parties going on, or there were bars here or there, or fun events and venues around, then I might not have thought around for years to friends like, what do we do tonight? What's there to do for the weekend? And eventually ended up going to a haunted destination that spurred a decade now of investigations around the world.
What does one have to do to get stowed away in your suitcase to go on all these cool adventures?
Now, most of them, I was just talking with somebody about this, and I'm sad about the reality, and it's something that a lot of people are, of course, with the pandemic right now dealing with. It almost feels fake talking about so many locations, working with so many third-party publications, so many teams who have been to locations in the past during this pandemic and not being able to travel so much, and working out licensing rights to share their photos and their experiences and their stories. And we have so many people reach out to the page saying a similar thing, like, it's so cool you guys get to travel around and go here. And it's like, well, I didn't actually go here. Like, these people did. Like, you go down to the bottom of the post, we say who it was, but we're kind of conscientious about the pandemic right now, so we're not traveling around. But no, it felt fake in the sense that it's like, I talk so much about the paranormal and I do so much within the paranormal, but especially recently, I've very rarely and seldom gotten to go out and actually do an investigation, but that is luckily going to be changing here soon.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
So I have a question for you. What is the first experience that you had where you were like, this shit's real? Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this shit is real.
Yeah, I guess kind of to touch back at what I said with the first investigation, it really started out as a novelty for me, more of a cool idea, a fun thing to do, paranormal investigating, that is. And I drove 4.5 hours northeast to Newcastle, Pennsylvania, from Beaver Creek, Ohio, to go visit Hillview Manor. And I went with about 12 individuals, guys and girls, and all from the same area, all with nothing better to do on a Saturday night. And truly, it was kind of just one of those things where it's like, this is so interesting to say. This is such a neat idea. This is such a unique experience. Like, I don't think any of us necessarily believed anything was going to happen, or just yet could fathom what a night inside of there could have looked like. But it quickly changed, and that location truly planted a seed in us that for at least several of us went on again now for a decade. But the one or two things that happened in there that truly set in my mind, this is real. The paranormal is real. This isn't just fun and games or smoke and mirrors. I was standing in a hallway there that was rumored to be an apparition hallway, as the curators were claiming it. And while most of my friends were out doing an EVP session in this little girl's room over to the side, two of my friends, Tim and Matt, we walked into the hallway that had a lot of apparitions supposedly in it, and we're just kind of walking up and down. Now, mind you, these two gentlemen are United States Marines. They are very hard and very tough individuals. And I mention that for how this story ends.
I was about to say, this is going to be good.
Okay.
We were just walking around, just talking, and we get to the opposite end of the hallway. And we start looping back around adjacent to where my friends are. And we just stand there. And while we're all talking, my eyes are peered right towards this one door that's right at the intersection of all these halls. That's right at the long 100-foot hall that all the apparitions appear in, and right at the adjacent hall that we're standing in that looks directly into it. And they asked me, Connor, what are you looking at? What are you looking at in that hallway? I'm like, look at this door. There's like something right by this door that keeps like shimmering right by the edge. And at first they can't really see it, but like they keep their eyes peeled right where I'm pointing, right around the right-hand side of the door frame where the door is hanging. And there's like this black shimmering mass. And it's so indistinct that you think your eyes are playing tricks on you. And as we watch it, it becomes more and more defined and more distinct, and you can make out this is actually some kind of like a physical anomaly of some sort. I'll call it now. Back then, I don't know what I would have called it.
Yeah.
But it just disappears. It disappears so fast that we all think, all right, our eyes just adjusted to the dark. There was nothing there this entire time.
Right.
And the second you can see in all of our eyes as we're kind of like shuffling in our footsteps, like getting comfortable again after this weird sight and thinking, all right, that was nothing. You see distinctly, clear as day, what was from mid-torso past the head, just peek around the door frame and look out at us. And these two, well, at least Tim bolted out of the building and refused to come in for the rest of the night. Matt just went to the lobby and sat down in the chair and is like, I just need some time, man. I just need some time. Prior to all, we saw that. We screamed. We screamed so loud. We ran so fast.
Yeah.
Out of that hallway so fast. The other like 8 people doing an EVP session, they all came out like, what's going on? Like, we don't have time. We don't have time. We got to get out of here. Something horribly wrong is happening. It set the stage for the entire night. And we really did. Yeah, we got in the mindset of like, all right, we came here for this. This is what we're experiencing. And
That's right.
we finally coaxed everybody back into the building, back in to look around. There were so many things that happened that night that I could spend this entire podcast outlining it all, but for whatever reason, it may be one of the more insignificant episodes, but to me, it always sticks in my mind as one of the strongest, just because it was one of my first disembodied voices. We were in the basement, 4 of us, 4 out of the 8 or 10 who had come. And we're just sitting there at the bottom of these stairs that lead into the basement. And we're doing an EVP. It's quiet as all hell. You can't hear anything. It's just this one gentleman named Blake who has an EVP out and is asking questions. And over by the staircase is one of my friends named Nate. And over on the opposite side of the stairs, kind of almost like behind them, is myself. And at the exact same time, Nate and I, not scream, but kind of like whisper to Blake, stop, stop, stop. Like, stop that right now. And he stops very fast, and he's like, what's wrong? And Nate and I say at the exact same time in like very rushed voices, like, there was just some girl yelling. Some little girl was just screaming. And only he and I had heard it. And they're like, nobody was yelling, nobody was screaming. And we're like, yeah. And then I look at each other like, yeah, it came from the top of the stairs. And nobody believed us. And we, before, oddly enough, even, this would never happen today, but before we even played back the EVP, we go back to the owner who's sitting in the lobby, and we say what we had experienced and where. And she just kind of chuckles. And we're like, has that been experienced before? It's like, that's one of the most common experiences. A little girl in a wheelchair fell down those stairs and died back in the 70s or 80s. And now people like hear her talking sometimes in that stairwell. But she's like, but I've never heard anybody actually hearing her scream at the top of the steps as though she's falling down.
Yeah, that sounds like you heard the fall, which is
exactly. It's almost like we heard like the residual energy of it.
Right.
And we actually played back the EVP, and clear as day, while Blake is talking, you hear this little girl in the background, like so hushed, so muffled, just screaming, and it sounds just distant enough where it's like, if you ask somebody, where's that voice coming from? Like, I don't know, a floor above you, like another hallway. It's like, this is happening somewhere else, but you can like hear it getting closer, like screaming as it's moving towards you.
Like it's coming down towards you.
Exactly.
I just get chills. Oh my gosh.
That is amazing evidence. It's also very sad.
Yeah.
But that's how a lot of this stuff goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it truly is. You know, it's
I love that story.
I get chills. I get chills thinking about it. I'm very eager to get back there. It's been far too long, but like I said, I couldn't mean it more truthfully. You know, Hillview Manor in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, if nobody's been there, that place, I've been traveling the country, I've been traveling the world for a better part of a decade now, and I'm yet to find a location that in a single night can produce as many results as that location can.
Well, we are not far from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Imagine, I love the name of you guys' podcast.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
We drink and we have fun, and we just...
And we're not actually twats. We're like pretty nice.
We're good twats.
I would imagine. I wouldn't imagine two twats could get along too well and go this long on a podcast.
So, okay. So you've been investigating for like more than a decade. So if there was one place that you had to tell somebody that's a novice to go for their first time, where would you tell them to go?
If I'm always looking to expand the community, so if I was advising a person in that manner, I'd want to send them to a place that was very historically significant, that was very significant for the paranormal, for its legend, for its happenings, for its own normal footprint in Americana. Yeah, and you know, depending on where they were, if they were way out on the West Coast in Cali, I'd say, you know, go to the RMS Queen Mary, go to Winchester.
Oh yeah.
If you're Mountain Standard Time, you know, go out to Jerome, Arizona, go to the Stanley Hotel, go to the Wyoming Territorial Prison. You're out in Texas, I'd say, God, there's just so many.
So let's say a location didn't matter. I know. I love this.
It's like you have way too many of these locations in your head.
And the Stanley, incredible. The fact that you just like threw that out there, I'm like, oh, love it.
If they're in you know, your guys' neck of the woods and back where I grew up, the top 3 places I'd point them towards is, if you're heading out in Pennsylvania, like if you're in the New York, Pennsylvania area, go to Eastern State Penitentiary. If you're
yes, I've been there twice. Yes.
If you're in the heartland, go to Waverly Hills. If you're you're Virginia down, check out Moundsville, check out Trans-Allegheny. Like there's so many locations, especially on the East Coast, that I would absolutely, depending on their location, try and point them towards the biggest crowd pleasers, the biggest names in the paranormal, the locations that have the curators, that have the staff, to make it a full-blown experience for them. That way it's not you paying like $500 or so, and they walk you in and they close the doors, you know, have at, hopefully this night leaves an imprint in your memory. I would want it to be a whole ordeal for them. so that hopefully they can see like
So like something guaranteed to happen.
Exactly. And
yeah,
and you want to do something like almost guaranteed to happen, just seeing how nice the people involved with this line of investigation and work and of a genre are. Because that's what, at the end of the day, like what I always said to my friends and my investigative teams, half the fun of doing investigations are like the planning, the road trips to get there, reviewing the evidence, having fun in the city that you're in. It's a whole experience. It's like a mini paranormal vacation. And just like the hallmark of it is just doing the investigation. But there's so much fun surrounding it. And I would direct anybody to have that full experience, because that's what's going to immerse you in the community.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, for me, I'm like a kid-free weekend.
I know, right? No
I
kids.
get to investigate ghosts and go out for drinks, and I don't have to ask anyone.
And hang out with the coolest people.
Yeah.
And just freaking do something that you love. Oh.
Yeah, this is like, and then after like meeting you, you're like the nicest person I've ever met.
You're like the chillest.
It's just like the best community to be in, honestly.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys. I really try to be I try to be pretty chill. So I appreciate you saying that.
So who have you like teamed up with?
Let me back up here. Most of what I do in terms of teaming up with is working in a travel scout capacity for different shows. So I've helped out with Portals to Hell, Destination Fear, Ghost Adventures, Kindred Spirits, either for numerous episodes or for a single episode, or to get them the proper contact information, access and stuff to different places that they didn't know how to get into. But one of my favorite experiences so far in the paranormal, which hopefully isn't my last in it, as I mentioned, I work in marketing. And randomly, not knowing I had any involvement in the paranormal community, one of my clients out in Texas drops the fact that they're trying to renovate this hospital out in Texas to be a new veterans trades training school. I'm like, oh, you own a hospital out in Texas. I'm like, what's it called? I figured, I know many have been, because they made mention to me, it's abandoned right now. It is decrepit. No one has been in there for No one's been in there since the Vietnam War. I'm like, you tell me what this place is. Like, I got so many locations running around in my mind right now. You tell me, what hospital do you own? And they said this random name that I've never heard of, Beach Army Hospital. And they say it, I'm just like, what the hell is that? What the hell is Beach Army Hospital? And I look it up, and after covering hundreds and hundreds of locations and knowing these places and the ins and outs of the U.S. and around the world, one thing you come to know is that something always exists on everything. Be it local municipalities having information or historical documents, YouTubers having been there, an online publication or an explorer or an urbexer doing some kind of coverage of the destination. Nothing existed for Beach Army Hospital. I talked to the local government. I talked to the owner. I talked to a previous owner. I talked to locals. Nobody could tell me anything about Beach Army Hospital beyond the fact that it was a Vietnam War era hospital that all of the helicopter pilots for the war were trained on before they were deployed. And it closed down after the war, and for the past 60 years had lain there in the outskirts of Mineral Wells, Texas, decaying. And this is my very long intro into saying that I convinced him to fly me out there and lock down in the hospital for the night to make sure it was haunted. My God, it was haunted.
That's awesome.
And I did so. Will never do so again. Yeah, it's
what?
To the paranormal.
Like, really? Can we go?
Community, I say never do an investigation alone. Usually, you should be safe. There's always some inherent dangers. There's always, especially some inherent dangers when going to an abandoned hospital in the outskirts of a very small town in rural Texas that no one's been to for half a century.
Yeah.
It becomes very paranormal and very real circumstance.
Yeah.
Yes, but I need to experience that to be like, okay, like I need to back the fuck up. You know what I mean? I need to be like, this is too real.
Let's get my ass bit off by a ghost.
That's what I need.
It was the experience of a lifetime.
What happened?
I had the opportunity to open the hospital up and run it for paranormal investigations for since last August, and it taught me two things. One, I am very good at marketing paranormal locations. I think we had this place booked out for the next year and a half solid going into 2020.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
We had bookings for Destination Fear to come film there, for Nick Groff's new Death Stalker to come film there, for Ghost Adventures to come film there.
Cool.
Everybody, nobody had ever heard of this place. It was
Mhm.
one of the only off the grid locations, a hospital especially, that was opening in this capacity, and I was so honored to be able to open it for the paranormal community. And that being said, every team, every show, everybody in the community wanted to see this place.
That is
And
so cool.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
the second thing that I learned is that there are many people in the paranormal community who, I'm not going to name names, not going to name locations, who are very competitive. Mineral Wells especially is chock full of a haunted location. That's kind of one of its big claim to fames in the US. And a lot of those people out there running those locations are incredible, awesome partnerships. We did weekend investigations at numerous spots, people coming in from as far as New York or Washington State, come down to Texas for it. It was incredible. We drove so much tax revenue and PR to the Mineral Wells area. But there were other locations that were smaller than the hospitals in the area or the sanitariums in the area that hated the popularity and the success of locations that were overshadowing their own. And so they began raising lawsuits against the business. They began getting fire marshals and police chiefs involved for every health code, for every inspection, for all of this. And it got caught up in so much red tape. It got caught up in so much boilerplate paperwork that it finally came to the point where it's like, look, I wanted to open this place for the paranormal community. I'm not opening this place up because I have the time to do like a part-time job to bury myself in all of this stuff that other members of the quote unquote paranormal community are trying to destroy for everybody else. So
yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
we had to close it down. We had to close it down.
Oh,
Hopefully
God.
it's not forever. Hopefully it opens back up at some point. It was an absolutely phenomenal, incredibly haunted destination. To this day, I truly think forever it will always sit so wrong with me that there are members of the paranormal community who are involved in it for profit, and if anything ever overshadows them or shows any sign of eating into their profit, they will cut it off like that for their own benefit, even if it means hampering the experience for thousands.
Yeah.
right. And like that place is going to get really popular. And for the big shows, there's only so many of them.
Yeah.
So once they come and do that location, they're done with it. They're not going to come back, at least not for a couple of years.
For a while, yeah.
I don't know why they just won't let that be.
I don't know. And the honest, the goodness thing about it was that, for example, Ghost Adventures and Destination Fear, when we were talking with their production companies, they wanted to come out there. It's kind of a hodunk town, and they wanted to come out there and shoot numerous locations. So I talked with all these people to so Ghost Adventures could film here, here, and here for an episode. So Destination Fear could do a similar thing. So a number of shows could do a similar thing. And it was one specific location in town that's been trying to get everybody shut down, and just pissed me off enough to the point that I didn't want to be involved in it. I decided to close doors, and I talked to their two owners afterwards, and they're like, "You guys just gotta follow the same rules that we do." And I'm like, dude, like first off, I can understand if it's a safety hazard. I have nothing wrong with protecting.
Of course.
Yeah.
If it's genuine, it's genuine. My first and foremost thought is, providing everybody with a safe and secure environment to do this. But just so you guys know, we had this show, this show, this show, and this show coming to film here, and they all wanted to know where else should they film. I told all four they should film at your location as well. And I told them all, you just screwed me over.
Right.
They screwed themselves over, really.
Exactly. They saw us as competition. And I told them, if you looked at Beach Army's hospital's involvement with the community, there was no profit. Every dollar that we made there went to renovating the hospital to turn it back into the school for veterans who are transitioning out of the military. Like we were
Right.
donating
Oh, wow.
it back to the community. Like everything we were doing, we were partnering with other locations and business owners to bring business there. Everything that we were doing with the shows was to maximize local tax dollars and tourism revenue for the local city.
Right.
Like we're not competition. If you'd reached out to me and you said you want to work with us,
Right.
we would have worked with you, and you would have been on all
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
shows and had all these investigations and had all this free press. And instead, you chose like scorched earth.
To throw a wrench in the whole thing and just shut it down.
And so now no one
Yeah.
will get anything. And I apologize. This is probably going so far off topic. It's just like
No,
No,
it's
no, no.
fine. No, it's fine.
it's like this one place in Mineral Wells, and I still respect them enough. But just you guys know,
Yeah.
a smaller venue in Mineral Wells is really all in it for the money.
Yeah, and that's like if these big shows came to Mineral Wells and they wanted to find the other haunted locations in Mineral Wells, like they just shot themselves in the foot by trying to get, shut down Beach Army Hospital.
Exactly. There were innumerable benefits to these shows coming here, and
Yeah.
it. And they like you guys said, they just threw a wrench in it, and it all blew up. Which it's no skin off my back. I wasn't making money off it. I was just in it for the experience of running a paranormal venue and seeing how well I could do at it. And it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I met great people. I got to work with so many production companies, but I certainly would have loved to have left it on a better note. And I was talking with some of the larger tour agencies in the company, like in the country, like Ghost Hunts USA and Haunted Rooms America and whatnot, that we partner with a lot of these investigations on. And when I had to inform them, both of them of which who for 2021 had invested upwards of $20,000 into investigations at this location, and we had to tell them it's all off. We can't do it.
Oh,
And they were absolutely cool about it. They were incredible people to work with. And I told them all, more professional iteration of what I'm saying now. Like, I set out to make another segment of the community, to offer this to the community and do it all for the community. And, it's a bummer to see some people, claim to be in it for the community, but are more in it for the money and, to hell with everybody else. And every single person messaged back to me, like the TV shows, the tour companies, like if we can offer you one piece of advice, they're like, in our decades of experience, we always come across those people. And it's never the investigators, it's never the enthusiasts, it's never the production companies, it's always these podunk people who own this location and open it up to the paranormal community and will destroy anything else in their path. And I'm just like, all right, food for thought. Someday in the future, if I own a paranormal location, I will have some eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah, for sure.
No kidding.
I mean, they're everywhere, really,
Yeah.
in any field, and they're just trying to make money, but they're really screwing themselves out of money.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing.
Well, it could certainly open up in the years ahead, maybe even in this year. But
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, indeed. Let's hope I'm right.
So what's next for you? What you got going on?
Well, I've always been very content just running the Haunted Historian on Instagram and covering the histories and the stories and the paranormal occurrences and providing the imagery. The imagery especially was key to why we chose Instagram, kind of to provide that dual content of longer write-ups but strong pictures for followers.
Mhm.
But as it's grown, there's definitely been an increased need to not necessarily need, but I should say a drive and a reason. There's been a reason to expand what we're involved in. So we have a Clubhouse now. We have the new app Clubhouse, I should say, for live streams inside of haunted houses. We have a Facebook now. We're working with Paraflix on a new series for them on a YouTube. So what's next for me right now is a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of production, a lot of camera work, a lot of editing. But it's all going to come together and culminate in the middle of this year, going towards the end of 2021, and a much wider stage for the Haunted Historian, which in and of itself is a stage for everybody else's stories. So as always, a much wider stage for the world to see people's paranormal experiences and their encounters and what their lives look like. And some of them, unfortunately, the most horrifying encounters you can picture. to ultimately progress the paranormal field and put it more into the mainstream, create more believers, and make the field itself more viable in the minds of a lot of everyday people.
I cannot wait
Yeah.
to see you take it from Instagram, just a photo platform, to going inside these places and just being able for, like, as somebody who loves your page and goes through the pictures and reads what you write and all of this stuff, as a fan, I cannot wait to see it jump platforms and see where you take it. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to see that.
I'm excited to see it as well. It's in early stages right now, so picturing the end is almost impossible in my mind. So
well, you should not picture the end.
that's
you
my
picture the next
picture
step.
the journey and just go a step at a time, because we're doing not something similar, but like we're taking a different step as well. And it's kind of like,
well, yeah,
it's overwhelming if you think big picture, but it's like, if you just, you know, look at the next step, it's like, okay, we can do that.
We never planned to do video. We always planned to just hide behind a microphone.
We literally started and we're like, we're
morphed.
just going to talk and we're going to do this and we're not going to put ourselves in a box. And now we're
in a
box talking with an accent that I don't actually have. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck that comes from. So I apologize for that. But
she was possessed for a second there.
Yeah, I don't know. I apologize. But here we are on a screen talking to you.
Yeah, and we couldn't be happier. So,
yeah, and it's awesome.
I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Friday night.
Oh, dude. Well,
thanks.
hopefully in the future, near future, when you have all these like balls rolling, we can come back and talk about what's going on then.
I'm hoping. I will say of any platform people could follow beyond Instagram, when it does launch, I would imagine sometime in April. Follow the YouTube, because the YouTube channel of the Haunted Historian is aimed at not doing the typical paranormal investigation that, like, you know, everybody from A to Z is currently doing on the platform. What I really wanted to do was kind of progress the field and bring a lot of mainstream pop culture people into the field to kind of give it a larger name and a more interesting involvement. So what we're doing is meeting with a lot of celebrities and working with them to lock down some of locations in their area. For example, I'm here in I don't know why I'm blanking on that. I'm
wherever
here in
you are.
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know why that was so hard for me to get out.
I'm like, wherever you are.
It's the only part in the West Coast I've been to.
Right.
Season episodes that we're doing here is at a location with Frankie Muniz.
Cool.
And then we're going out to California to lock down in this Cielo Drive house with and we're going to do that with Hannah Brown from the former Bachelorette, and then we're who else?
Look at him, he's so excited.
I'm very excited.
I would be too.
You're like fucking cheesing.
So cute. I think of like we're trying to do like 10 episode seasons, and I'm thinking of the people that we have lined up for this first season, and
that's awesome.
I am both eager paranormally, and I'm also eager as a person who grew up watching a lot of these.
Right. Yeah.
No, I get that. That's awesome.
It's going to be real fun. It's going to be a really fun. Honestly, I just wanted to do something a little more unique, a little more intriguing, something in it where, like, if you're not even interested in the paranormal, if this isn't even like your topic matter, but you saw like a thumbnail on YouTube, like Frankie Muniz locks down in like abandoned Phoenix insane asylum, like
yeah,
I'm gonna what's that look like?
I'd click on it. I'd be like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So it's really, again, it's really just trying to advance the field and get more people interested in it, and give them a reason to click on a video and see how interesting and intriguing topic matter like this could be, and get more people involved in the conversation.
Man, that sounds so awesome. So you got some big things coming this year.
If it all pans out, yeah, it should.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
That's really cool, and I can't wait to hopefully get back together and hear about them.
I know.
Absolutely, and I guess the one plug I'll do, social.
Do as many as you want.
No, there's just the one thing I'll say. We teamed up with McGibson Publishers to release a Hana Historian coffee table book this October. So all the top 100 posts from the past 3 years will be categorized into a more in-depth rundown and even more photos into like an actual like put on your front in your living room table kind of big book to like actually sit down and pictorially go through some of the most haunted places in the US and around the globe. So that'll be announced probably.
No shit.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Some locations that we haven't covered yet, but are locations that we want to cover in the year ahead. So we worked with some people on getting those images and those histories. So that probably won't be announced until midsummer. But you heard it here first. The coffee table book is coming.
Yay.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Cannot
definitely
wait.
send us like any info you have on that when it's coming time, and we will share that.
We'll plug it. Yeah.
Love it. I appreciate that.
That is so cool.
And I'll just buy a coffee table just so I can get the book. I'm not big on coffee tables, but I'll get one.
She'll put it on an end table.
It's not where it's meant to be, guys.
She'll put it on the kitchen table.
I will buy a coffee table just to have a coffee table book.
Get the whole making. Everything you need.
All of it.
Perfect Instagram photo of you on a Saturday, nice and cloudy out, just taking a photo. Coffee's on your coffee table, as well as the Hana Historian book. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a hit.
What could be better on a dark and stormy day?
Exactly. What
Yeah.
A coffee table book of our selfies on your coffee table.
That's true. You're going to be getting a present from us.
Our ghetto couch is not working here.
No, it's not. Just ignore the background. We're working it out.
I like the background. I do like the background.
This will be cut out.
Yeah, this whole like white edge here will be edited.
But our cover for our couch.
Our
it
ghetto
off.
couch here
Yeah, it's not the best.
is not. It's not working.
Not the best.
Does it act like a green screen sort of thing, or is it just like a black couch for you guys?
It's like
It's two winged.
with a black sheet over them to look like a couch. So
Mhm.
next time it's
Next
gonna be like
next time we'll
neon
have our
lights.
shit together.
it's gonna be chairs.
We'll have our wing back chairs. Like, I'm excited to see it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us.
It was my pleasure coming on. I always love talking ghosts with anybody.
Yeah, we love talking ghosts. We just need to experience what you have where we're like, oh, we're not going back there.
Or guys, come on.
Yeah, we need more people.
You need to come here.
Either way it works. Whatever gets you guys in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I want to see like someone get thrown across the room or dragged up a wall and fly across the ceiling.
She wants to see like cryptid shit where there's like going
no
across the
shortage
ceiling. I'm like,
of what I want to see. So I don't think anything will like drive me out of there. But
Got some.
then there's reality where where it might happen.
Like you got some high bars set for what you
Real
want.
quick though, what's the
anything under
craziest?
that I'm good with.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen where you're like, I never want to see that again,
An
experienced?
exorcism in Columbus, Ohio. I don't put much stock in demons. I'm a Christian. I believe in demons, but I don't believe in how every other show left and right.
Yeah.
It's just like demon. That's the devil.
Preach.
It's over there to the left.
Yes, it's just an asshole ghost, right?
It truly is. It's like it's the entire point of a demon is that if it's there, it wants to mess with you. It wants to intimidate you and try and take you over without you ever finding out it's a demon. So for anybody who's listening to this, who's like hosting a show, if an EVP comes through and it says demon, devil, hell, those are surefire signs that you are not talking to a demon or to the devil or
Yes!
That is good to know.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
okay,
you.
so about the exorcism though, do you feel like they were actually possessed?
It was, to this day, some of the most startling evidence I've ever seen in my life. And it was just absolutely horrifying. A lot of it I can't actually legally disclose because we teamed up with the Catholic Diocese out of Columbus to work with a family out of a suburb in Columbus. I'll leave it at this. It would take heaven and hell, no pun intended, to prove to me that what's going on as a possession, what is happening inside of a home is demonic activity. There is not a shred of doubt in my mind that what was happening inside of this home was demonic activity. I've never seen
Wow.
anything so incredible in terms of the paranormal. To give you one taste of it, we flew in a team to check out this home from every point of the country. Some came from Ohio, some came from Florida, some came from Texas, some came from Arizona here. I assembled the best team I could to help this family of clairvoyants, of parapsychologists, of general psychologists, of investigators, of researchers, of historians. And we all culminated in Columbus, Ohio to figure out what was going on with this family, the majority of them being skeptics. I'll give you two tastes of events that happened here. The first one, we're in the basement, and the clairvoyant, she's incredible. I don't put a lot of stock either in metaphysical people. She's the golden goose of just metaphysical people. She's, gosh, I can't even.
Yeah.
She's
like that good.
She is the shit. She is the best. But she walks down and she's like yelling. I think she's yelling at one of the investigators or one of our team members. And I get down there and everybody keeps asking, who's she talking to? And it turns out she's just like yelling into the darkness. And I finally go up to her. I put my hand on her shoulder. I'm like, is everything okay? Like, are you all right? Is somebody bothering you? And she's like, oh no, I'm talking to her. And I'm like, you're talking to her? And she's like, oh yeah, there's somebody down here. And she's like whispering into the darkness and she keeps like waving her hands in front of her face. And I'm like, are you okay? Is it like attacking you? She's like, no, I'm pushing the smoke out of my eyes. And I'm like, what's going on? And she turns to the owner and she points this back crevice of the home. And she looks at him and she's like, why is that there? And he's like, I don't know. That's when we bought the house, it was here. And she's like, no, it shouldn't be here. That's not a part of the house. And he's like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. She's like, did you choose that for the house? And he's like, well, I mean, oddly enough, like when well, from what we understand, like that was kind of a mess up with the builders. Like this entire area that you're pointing back here in the basement was not supposed to be a portion of the basement. They like dug too deep or like the schematics were wrong. And this entire area was not supposed to be a part of our home. And she's like, that's why I'm asking you that. That's where the body was. And
oh shit.
The body?
That's where the body was. That's where she opened up the portal. And we're like, what portal are you talking about? And she's like, Agatha. That's where Agatha opened up hell. And we're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Who's Agatha?
Right. What?
And the second we say, well, I should say the second she says Agatha, that's where Agatha opened up the doorway. The second she says that, this giant table, and we caught it on video. We haven't posted it again for legal reasons because it's for a private family.
Right.
But also here because I haven't disclosed who they are or where they're at in Columbus. The second we say that, this entire table, and we caught it on video, we watched it like a dozen times, just flips. The table flips over, and we all just like jump back, and you just hear these footsteps stomp up the stairs, and we just run up there. And so the second we get up there, the priests are in the living room, and we're just like, the priests are like, what's going on? Who just came up the stairs? Like, no one came up the stairs. Something came up the stairs, but nobody. And
the stomping was like that wasn't a person.
It wasn't a person. It was like something. The table flipped, and we all heard on like uncovered wooden steps leading up to the first floor where the living room was, just like thundering footsteps going up there. And we sprinted after it. And the priests are up there. And the second we're all up there, they just start reciting these verses. Like once we're all up there, they're just reading them off. And at first, nothing's happening. But like the fifth time they say the verse, you hear like talking in the kitchen, like between a man and a woman, like talking in the kitchen. They say it again, and one of our investigators, Alex, like jumps back and he's like, what? He's like, who's touching me? They say it again, and you see this white mist like shoot up the stairs. He says it again. You hear the door like hit against the wall in the kids' playroom directly in front of the stairs. He says the verse again. You see this like black figure walk right past the doorway. He says it again. You hear this like table that we found in the back of the room later on just flip again up in the kids' room. You heard like a giant crash up there. And then he says it again, and you just hear this giant bang against the wall, as though somebody just got thrown against the wall, and he stops. And for the first time that night, you feel as though all of the energy in the house had finally gone away. And we rush up there. We rush into the kids' room, and you can immediately see behind their like princess tent where there's like coloring table was that had flipped over. And right behind this coloring table was like a boarded up doorway that was just, I can't make this shit up. It's out of a horror movie. That behind that coloring table was like a slightly cracked open doorway into a crawl space that led into the attic.
Ah,
And the clairvoyant walks up there, and we all walk up there, and she's like, it's not gone, but we have it. And we're like, what do you mean? And she's like, it went back into the portal. And we're like, what went in the portal? She's like, inside of the crawl space. That's where it was. She didn't know this, but over the course of the past 3 years, 3 psychics had come into the home. None of them had ever been permitted access to go upstairs. That's where everything happened in the kids' rooms. But all of them could tell the family there's something in the kids' playroom in the back of the room that is feeding into this home. And just as well, everything that we experienced centered around things happening inside of that room. And so we figured we'll be able to give the family some good news. Like, we chased this dark entity back into this crawl space, and it's gone and trapped, or at least whatever religious text that we were citing scared it away so bad that it left this home in a hurry. And so we got in our cars after about an hour of conversing with the family and giving them the news, and we left. And I immediately call Alex, one of the my closer investigators that I work with, and he tells me, well, I tell him, I should say, I'm like, you know, I've been doing investigating for a long time, and this is one of the first times in my life that I feel like what we just did made a difference, because the mother and the daughters had gone to the hospital on several occasions. They showed us the pictures, clawed and bruised to hell, waking up like that. And I said, I think we actually just saved that family. And he just says to me on the phone, we didn't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's back. And I'm just asking him, like, what do you mean? It's back. He's like, I just got off the phone with, he says the father's name, but I won't say his name here. He's like, I just got off the phone with the father. And he's like, they went in, they're like, we told them that, and they felt comfort. Like, they thought, oh, they actually did this. Apparently the husband and wife went into their bedroom after putting the kids to bed. And this all happened like a 10-minute span of us leaving. And they walked into the master restroom, and they're getting ready for the evening, toiletries, all the stuff like that. And while they're standing there, the walk-in closet inside of the restroom, this giant dark hallway, they hear this clear as day. He has the recording. I don't, because the husband sent it to him when it started happening, because after being haunted for 3 years, you get used to recording things the second that happens.
Yeah.
mhm.
He got a recording what sounded like something standing in the middle of the dark doorway in their closet, whistling Daisy, Daisy.
Oh.
And just like that, the wife immediately throws herself into the shower and closes the door. And the husband's like guarding the door and just starts yelling, like, get the hell out of my home. And he says it sounded like an 800-pound man walked out of there, thumped against the ground so loud he thought the tile was going to break.
Oh my God.
Rushed out of their restroom, rushed out of their bedroom, and ran back upstairs to the playroom where the kids were.
No.
And to this day, we've brought in people time and time again to try and get whatever is in there out of there. But from talking with clairvoyant after clairvoyant, none of whom know each other, none of whom converse with each other, they all tell us the same thing. There's something extraordinarily dark inside of that home.
And it's still there?
Still there. And the reason it's strong is because it can hide behind other spirits, because that house is right at the epicenter of 3 different portals. So like there are like spirits feeding into that home. So whenever like a clairvoyant thinks that they can find that spirit or that entity and get rid of it, it can hide within or around other spirits, and they'll never be able to get it. It is literally the most spiritually crowded home I've ever been in. Most of these clairvoyants have ever been in, and exorcism after exorcism, we don't know how to get it out of there. But the wife and daughter, the middle daughter, keep waking up with scratches and bruises. We keep getting pictures and updates of them at the hospital. The husband's had to quit his job so he can stay home full time to watch the kids, and if you had something's going to like take them. The wife started losing time, and I talk with the Catholic Church, and I tell them, like, you know, there are 3 steps to a possession or like an exorcism here in this case, where it's like there's a haunting, there is a like a regression, some people call it, and then a full-on possession, and they are
oppression and then possession.
And then they have exhibited all the signs of like any day now, whatever is in there, just taking full control of them. It is the darkest I've ever seen. It is more direct and more real and more horrifying than any Hollywood movie I've ever seen.
I bet.
We actually had a Hollywood film crew and come out and want to sign NDAs and disclosures with the family because they wanted to make a movie off what was happening inside of their home.
It's not even resolved
while
yet.
it was going on.
That's crazy talk.
I feel like that's a little fucked up.
It is a little fucked up, but the only reason that they can't get out of that house is for financial reasons, and they were offering the family a lot of money that could potentially solve that issue.
That also makes sense. Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. They can be like, all right, pay off my house and you can come in here.
Right. Take notes.
That is the one. That is the one for me. That will always sit wrong.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. I was raised Catholic. And so, you know, we were raised to believe in heaven and hell and demons and angels and all that stuff. So like my favorite scary movies have to deal with demons and the church and all that stuff because I believe it's to be true. But if I were to experience something like that, I don't think I could handle it, honestly.
The very first experience I had in that home was one of the most intense. We'd been investigating there all night, and we kept experiencing things, but it was as though it was avoiding us, like always staying out of reach or in the next room, but just doing enough to make its presence known. And we're finally in the master bedroom, and I got so fed up. And we had a REM pod in there about 10 feet from us. We're standing by the restroom, and it's over on the parents' dresser. And I find I didn't blow up. I kind of just like burst out a little more loudly than usual. Like, you know what? This is a waste of time. Like, we know something's here. We can hear it. We can like half the time see it. Like,
yeah, you're leading us on here.
Exactly. Whatever's here has no interest in us. It has no interest in interacting with us or proving itself. The only thing that this entity has an interest in dealing with is the family. And the second I said that, the REM pod just lit up. And I don't mean like a TV show, like the REM pod, like it was like beep and then goes. It was an uninterrupted minute and a half that REM pod just lit up. And
damn.
I don't know, whatever. I'm almost like baffled just talking about it. Whatever is in there is beyond any story I've ever heard, beyond any movie I've ever seen. It is the most powerful entity I've ever conceived of. And I have no idea how anybody can get rid of it.
No, that is
the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about. I feel bad.
You are the best storyteller.
Oh yeah.
I'm literally like,
that's why he's the haunted historian.
No kidding. Oh my God.
We get it now.
No. I'm literally like, then what happened?
I know. Like, this is like, I literally felt like I was watching a movie when you explained
I feel like
it.
I'm there. Like I feel like you explained
it
it so well that I'm like walking through this house with you and I'm seeing a REM pod on a dresser outside of a restroom, like, and you're like provoking whatever. Like, I feel like I'm there because you're so good at like explaining everything. Hats off, dude.
I'm happy to paint the picture for you guys. Hopefully I can paint the picture at one point of it actually being solved. But at this point, That's what I gotta leave you
I
at.
mean,
Oh my God.
yeah,
I hope.
I hope that family gets whatever they need to get rid of that, or gets out of there and it doesn't follow
Or they
them
can
whatever.
leave and burn the fucking house down because that is a nightmare.
Right.
Oh my God.
Zach Bagans can take the staircase to his museum and then
Or the portal,
rid
the
of the rest
little
of it.
crawl space, whatever. Take it to Vegas and the rest of the house can just go.
right.
God.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was our rant.
God.
Thank you so much.
No,
Like
it's my-
seriously, thank you so much for joining us.
No,
It's been
This
so
has been really
much
fun.
fun.
no, for sure. I'd be happy to come back on again sometime down the road when I have more stories to share.
Oh, we'll
we look
definitely
forward to
ask
it.
you.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thanks, Connor.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
You guys as well. You have a good rest of your weekend.
You too. Bye, Connor.
I'm about to fucking pee my pants.